talent chooses a place, and they want things that are diverse and kind of appeal to different audiences. So having professional soccer as an opportunity here in Southwest Missouri, I think further kind of strengthens our destination to be viable.
Welcome to another edition of My Mom Calls It Soccer, the football podcast for people who call it soccer. My name is Michelle, and I am a Liverpool fan.
I'm Chase. I'm a Barca fan.
And I'm Grandma, and I am a Real Madrid fan.
And today we have with us a very special guest, Amanda Ohlensehlen, and she is the Director of Economic Vitality for the City of Springfield.
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Very pleased to be with all of you today.
So the reason we are having you on is the City of Springfield has done a feasibility study. I believe I'm correct, so correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, with United Soccer League.
Yeah, so we are currently in a phase to do a feasibility study for the future viability of bringing professional men's and women's soccer to Springfield through the United Soccer League.
That's amazing. So tell us, from your job and what you do, what are your thoughts about it? What excites you about it? What do you think it means for Springfield?
Absolutely. This is an incredibly exciting opportunity for the City of Springfield. We've been able to partner with the United Soccer League, or USL, to identify a potential site for the development of a stadium, and then kind of go through all the feasibility and due diligence of what that can mean, and then also what that can mean for our community long term. So we entered that an LOI with USL in the term of the feasibility about a year ago. So that's kind of a 2-year kind of due diligence period. And so we are now, looking at the site itself. So some of the constraints or some of the opportunities that exist with the identified site. And then also we'll be diving into more analysis as far as the market and what the potential of having those teams here in Springfield, Missouri could mean for our community.
That's so exciting. And you mentioned both men's and women's teams. So I love that it, and in going out, I don't know a lot about USL. Chase knows more about it than I do.
A little bit.
But I loved seeing that it is an organization that has both men's and women's soccers and paths for different levels of teams.
Absolutely. So they have several different levels of teams. Their organization really wants to help to facilitate a pipeline for young talent. So I think it's another opportunity to help expose our community members, our youth, our college students that may, transition into some of these professional teams in the future. It's a great pipeline of bringing that interest and excitement to Southwest Missouri.
It's super exciting. We're excited as fans. What are the next steps? What could we expect as community members in terms of if we want to follow this progress and see if it's going to happen or it's not? What should we be looking at?
Yeah, so as we're able, city staff and USL in partnership will be providing updates. Right now, again, we're kind of looking at the due diligence of the site itself. It is a former brownfield site as well, meaning that there were other uses in the past that have made this a really tricky site for development. So it's at a key intersection along a key corridor for Springfield at the corner of National and Traffic Way. So it's also in close vicinity to the Springfield Cardinals at Hammons Field. So really thinking about the opportunity of a sports entertainment district and kind of how this can support professional sports in Springfield for the long term.
I love that because, growing up, being from this area, you had to travel to Kansas City or St. Louis to see professional sports. And I loved when Springfield Cardinals came, and I love the idea of there being other professional sports here. So
absolutely. And the city purchasing that stadium a few years back and really solidifying the Springfield Cardinals to be here for a long time has been a really exciting opportunity. And as the Director of Economic Vitality, basically our department performs kind of all the economic development functions functions for the city. So
Okay.
looking at bringing projects and bringing investment to Springfield. So we are excited as USL looks to expand and add new teams throughout their network that they've identified Springfield, Missouri. And so, again, we're kind of in the first year of a 2-year feasibility cycle. So we'll start to know more and be able to put out more information about what the next steps can look like.
So one of the things that I had read in the information that you all have out there, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, if it were to happen, there is planning or at least thought of really developing other adjacent businesses around there. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. These types of investments can be a magnet or a catalyst to provide the momentum for other projects to be successful. Again, the more that we can create demand generators that are bringing visitors, that are supporting our residents, that are supporting our students and our employers to have things for people to do, we really want to have a special place, right? Talent chooses a place.
Yes.
And they want things that are diverse and kind of appeal to different audiences. So having professional soccer as an opportunity here in Southwest Missouri, I think further kind of strengthens our destination to be viable, for the future.
Absolutely. Chase, as our resident soccer expert, football expert, whatever you want to call it, what questions do you have for Amanda?
So how would soccer players get into the team? Is there going to be like a developmental plan for the players? Is there going to be maybe a little academy?
So you're does USL have those youth teams that feed in, and would Springfield have that?
I think that really, if I understand the model that USL uses, is they want to partner with that structure and those teams and those leagues that already exist here in our region. And so they are coming on site. Not only are we looking at the feasibility of the stadium itself and the kind of construction project side of things, but also the viability of how these teams can be supported and the underlying kind of infrastructure of those leagues, of those feeder programs, of the talent that eventually could be players in the league.
Okay.
So we have in our interviewing, we interviewed the Drury men's coach, who Ben Taylor, who has played in USL. I can't remember what division he was in.
I don't remember.
But he talked also about a lot of their players who are going and developing. There's a league in USL where a lot of college players go and play in the off season and to further develop. So that was probably our first introduction to USL, was kind of hearing them talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. I actually had an opportunity as USL is expanding across the country. They hosted an event in Spokane where we got to see the stadium there. And I actually had the opportunity to meet 2 players that formerly had played at Missouri State University.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
I can't remember exactly how many players have played at our local universities, but it's in the probably
a lot.
a couple dozen or, close to 20. I'm not sure the exact number, and that probably changes all the time, but it is really exciting to see those pathways and see those players and students that have been able to grow and develop and compete at higher levels.
Yes. I think too, one of the great things that I think about as a fan of if we have a team here is it is always fun when you are bringing in players from other areas and other backgrounds, and it just makes your community more rich when you have those people. Just when our players are going to play in Portland or wherever, that kind of mix of culture and different background is cool. So
yeah, it really is. And I think it's another way for us to kind of showcase what we have to offer here in the Ozarks and Southwest Missouri, and getting visitors that maybe otherwise wouldn't know about Springfield to be exposed to that, to be exposed to our higher education system and the great universities that we have here and what those offerings are. So I think from a visitation standpoint of getting new eyes on Springfield, it's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. So tell us, kind of off this topic, but staying in soccer, do you have a professional team that you follow, care about, know anything about?
Not really,
It's
but
fine.
I am very excited for the World Cup, right? So, everybody's kind of setting their sights on that.
Yes.
And so I think that there will be a lot of coverage and things like that. But so I'm not loyal to any one team.
fan?
And I kind of shared before this podcast, I am not one that's overly familiar with soccer. So
Neither
it's a
was
sport
I.
that, I didn't play myself. Wasn't, didn't, growing up, didn't have as much exposure to. So just kind of the basis of your podcast and how it started, I think is pretty intriguing. And I think also just demonstrating why this project would be really important to Springfield. It's going to bring new fans. It's going to grow that fan base, and, have another sport that people can cheer for, another pipeline for young talent to develop and then compete and have aspirations for. So, I'm really excited about that piece of it as well.
Absolutely. So one thing I wanted to ask is, because we are a podcast that's geared toward new fans, we are, if people are established fans, we're not, they probably listen to us and we kind of, they may laugh at Grandma and I because we don't know a lot of things, but our audience is really going after new fans and bringing new people into the sport. Are there any things that we can do to help support your efforts in terms of getting the word out or sharing information? Because we would love to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And we would love for all of you and all of your listeners and all of the people viewing this podcast to stay engaged in this opportunity. So again, we've kind of been behind the scenes doing some of the initial feasibility, but we will continue to host events. We've had USL come to Springfield and host an event, and it was well attended. So we want to make sure that we are helping to promote those opportunities to connect with USL through as many different channels as we can. So we'll be, more publicly updating those things and hopefully the coming months as we kind of get through some of these initial kind of due diligence and kind of research pieces of this project. And then we'll be continuing to share those opportunities for the fan base to grow, for them to learn and engage with USL and ask questions. And, that organization can really determine, okay, what's the best fit for Springfield and how can they continue to kind of boost our local soccer fan base.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we would love to stay involved and to help recruit new people or people who are in Springfield who've maybe never been exposed to the sport or don't know much about it. We can kind of help get them in line and ready to buy tickets.
Yeah, and I was really pleased with some of those initial events of how well attended they were, and some of the other leagues on the youth side or even adult side, or even fans that exist just to follow, their favorite team.
Yeah.
So there's a somewhat kind of informal committee that's helping to generate some of that excitement locally. And I think that group will start to probably communicate more opportunities to, come to watch parties or
because you guys had a watch
Yeah.
party for the U.S. national team,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah,
so
we did. We had a watch
we couldn't
party.
come for some.
Yeah.
We had a conflict, but I think that's great.
Yeah, so I think there will be more opportunities for that, and even leading into the World Cup and some of these competitions is just giving folks that are soccer fans more of their peers to engage with, and I think also to helping those that are new fans to have a group that they can ask questions and experience that and get excited together and learn together.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is far off because you're not to that point yet, but I was just curious about picking a team name. If we do get a team, will you have a contest, or is there some formality to it?
I think that's a really good question. So I'm sure everybody has names that they would love to throw out. So I would imagine that there will be community input into that. I don't know if it'll be a formal competition or kind of how that will come about. But I think that that's an exciting opportunity to figure out, what are those team names going to be for Springfield, Missouri, and how that will reflect throughout, the entire region and the country for other teams that will come here to compete.
I mean, we've been really surprised by how many fans there actually are in the area that football,
Yeah.
soccer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too. It's been a really exciting thing to kind of learn and have individuals that are interested in staying in touch and finding out more. So we will make sure that we keep this group informed.
Perfect.
And maybe a future podcast when we
Yeah.
have more concrete updates
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
project
We would
itself.
love to check back in when you've got more information, and then we would love to be able to share that and help you get the word out and help get lots of fans attending.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that'd be
Thank you,
great.
Amanda. I appreciate it so much for talking with us, and just keep us posted, and we'll be checking back in. And we're very excited. Any of our listeners and watchers who are here in Springfield, we look forward to actually having a team here eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the
Thank
time
you.
today and your interest in this. It's more to come, I'm sure.